Hello and welcome to Clicks and Classics with Sherlock Holmes the Awakened. We are back. We are in Dr. Gygax's office. We are in the dungeon area of this institute. And as you know, last time I had a little bit of an issue with saving. I had to replay the last episode again. So if I may have missed a dialogue or an item in the meantime, that's why. So that may be why I have to pick up a thing once or twice, but I think I got everything. Wasn't luckily not too long of a replay, but now let's jump into the game, back into first person and see what we can find here in his office.
The Worship of Ghouls by Count Derlet. I do not think this book would give the reader pleasant dreams if reserved for bedtime reading.
Yeah. Oh, what is that?
I don't know what this Gygax studied, but judging by his office and what I saw before, he is more dangerous than any of his patients.
Yeah, last time we also found the well with the human body parts in it. Wolf, we wanted to see...
This man seems to suffer from every possible mental affliction. Judging by the date of
about his state, that was the guy who did math.
The former hospital director researched his case and mentions Wolf's professor. Apparently, he was the only person of influence with the poor fellow. There is even a portrait of the late professor included in with the reports.
Do we need a beard? We have the glasses. And I guess
so this is
we
Professor
have
Schwartz.
The hairpiece. So can we combine that now? Mentioned that last time that might be an thing, but okay, not now. Oh, poker. Or, yeah. Oh, we have it. Ooh, what
Closed.
else?
Tight.
Spoon. Trusty spoon. Best weapon.
Closed.
Or
Tight.
tool ever. Okay, the poker helps here. Professor Gygax, after reading your letter, I understand that the risk of exposure by my master is great. I believe that even if we employed hair pieces, heavy top coats, and generous tips, nothing would slip him safely past this country's custom officials. As the great day draws near, my master's behavior will become more uncontrollable, and our plans should not risk ruin due to unwanted attention. So I ask you to keep light my master close at hand. He will enlighten you when darkness returns to cover this place. Echoes from 5 New Orleans. Tell me our people there need more means. New Orleans. Tell me what the actual pronunciation is. Make sure that they have what they need so their deliveries to you are not overly delayed. I hope to congratulate you on the quality of your work when I receive your package until he accepts you among his. On the handwritten letter found in Dr. Gygax's office, there is a greasy stain, apparently from an oil lamp. This specific oil is a variety that has not been in common use for some time. The person who wrote this letter must therefore have access to old stores of lamp oil. The letter is also recent, being dated a few days ago. I can infer it was posted from Europe and should have passed through countries with a reliable postal system. A strong odor of iodine was also detected. This letter was also in the presence of sea air before it was posted. Unfortunately, the envelope it came in was not found.
There's an oily stain on this letter. It smells of iodine. Interesting.
I thought there was something more. Letters found in Dr. Gygax's office. They originated from various Swiss banks and show that during these last month, the doctor completed several sales of precious stones. Each transaction was for a great amount. You must have a real treasure. These letters also reveal funds were transferred to specific bank accounts in London and New Orleans.
Unbelievable. These letters are from various Swiss banks and show that the doctor made several sales of precious stones over these last months, and each time for higher profit. He must have access to a real treasure. I see numerous transfers were made to an account holder in the Bank of London and another in a bank here in New Orleans. I must take note of these transactions.
Okay, so that's the second time New Orleans was mentioned. Complications, big delay, but goods will be ready on time. Need money because no more stones. A
cable from New Orleans sent in the last few weeks. If the shipment of these goods from New Orleans relies upon a transfer of funds from Europe, it is possible the actual exchange won't take place for a few weeks. There may still be time to intervene. There's a small label that says classroom.
Okay, classroom key. Dear sir, first of all, I'd like to thank you for selecting our bank in order to handle your transactions and account. The jewelers we contacted have made several offers, which generously exceed our experts' estimate of the value of your goods. They also provide solid financial guarantees to back their bids. The discretion of our associates is, as you know, proverbial, and nothing other than this document will reveal the true nature and extent of your transactions. Here is an accounting for each gem and the total sums collected on your behalf, less our commissions. You will find that the monies have been deposited in your account for your disposition. Jewels, 7 carat, 400 Swiss francs. Okay, that's a lot of money. Sincerely yours, Wilhelm Burger. What is that? Oh, it wasn't actually. So these may be the bells that were mentioned in the letter in the kitchen. There's the Abstellkammer.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. This.
I feel great pity for the patients who must have been tied to this machine.
Yeah, for sure.
The faint signs remaining on this blackboard are in phonetics. It appears that people were forced to recite some text with no real understanding of its meaning. It's a pity that the text was erased.
On the blackboard in Gyjax's workroom, I found faint traces of a phonetic inscription. It would seem people were given this text to recite, most likely by force. The use of phonetics suggests these people were unfamiliar with the language and therefore also unable to grasp its meaning. Unfortunately, the doctor erased the writing after he had finished with his lesson. The exact wording of and meaning of the text is not clear. This method of teaching the subject an unknown phrase through forced memorization could also explain the horrific experiments performed on the brains of the talking birds. Who is capable of repeating better than a minor bird? Oh, that's a good point. Ooh.
What's this? A battery with a crank starter. No doubt used to stimulate his patients.
Probably. There's another book. Oh, there's a bird.
These birds are from the aviary.
No!
They served a purpose beyond mere decoration.
Not the bird.
A notebook detailing the experiments conducted by Mr. Gyjax.
Number 1. Theory. By comparing the cerebrums of talking birds and the patients, we will find similarities in shape. These similarities in shape will imply similar functioning. In particular, the portion of the human brain which corresponds to that of birds govern both vital function common to all higher beings and the formation of articulated sounds. Practice validates this theory. A patient whose cerebrum portions not replicated in the talking birds were destroyed continued eating and producing sounds, though they had no real significance. Theory 2. If a patient's life is maintained and gradually parts of his cerebrum are removed, it should be possible to identify which human functions corresponds to each distinct section of the cerebrum. Therefore, this procedure will identify the sole cerebral functions that serve our experiment, those that enable the individual to survive and produce precise articulated sounds. We may then remove all except these core cerebrum elements in our subjects. Practice validates this theory. Unfortunately, the lack of collaboration by the subjects does not allow me to isolate the part of the cerebrum corresponding to reading or acquiring new knowledge. I do not have enough expendable patients for test subjects, as most are needed for the cause. I will have to find another way. 3 theory. By using the phonetic system, the patient, regardless of nationality, learns the specified song. However, they must repeat and commit this phonetic-based song to memory while they are in full possession of their senses. The question is, will they retain the ability to articulate this learned song after the undesired cerebral section are removed? Practice validates this theory. The patients react favorably to the training and the use of phonetics. The destruction of the superfluous parts of the cerebrum does not adversely affect the patient's recent memory. In fact, these recent memories stay close to the surface and can be triggered by association with food. Once the association is established, the patient will recite the learned song in a continuous loop, and the withholding or rewarding of a bonbon can influence the quality of that elocution. Further, the patients would thus be capable of fulfilling their assigned tasks and submissively and faithfully without rebelling, and while staying alive as long as possible. So pretty horrific experiments. Okay. Anything else you know? So which one is the long? But 3 short, 1 long.
Now it can't be used for anything. Now it can't be used for anything.
Good.
Now it can't be used for anything. Now it can't be used for.
Why wouldn't I be able to? I don't know. We'll see, but now, let me see, now we have the key to the classroom, right? I think the classroom. We are.
It must be used to punish insolent pupils.
Oh, didn't want to skip that.
It must be used to punish insolent pupils. Slightly excessive.
Slightly? Jeez. Holmes.
This should prove useful. And now time to become the good Professor Schwartz and pay a visit to Wolf.
Oh, and it was a false beard. That is useful. Dr. Gygax, as your staff informed me, you could not see me before my departure, and since you implied during our last meeting that my responsibilities at the Institute would be fulfilled by you, I believed it wise to leave you a word here. Please understand that the mission entrusted to me by health authorities in this country is not taken lightly, and it is worth the investment they are making. That is why I inquired into the personal files of every patient, their records, and asked for the specific reason for your refusal to admit certain patients to the class. Though this is my first assignment, I believe that these initiaries were not dealt with appropriately, or in a way that similarly placed establishments would employ. Future experience will confirm if this is true, but this is not the reason for my letter. Once again, I want to draw your attention to the anonymous patient whom you assigned to the laundry. for which I am gratified. 3 days ago, I was a witness to yet another of his wonderful reawakenings. I was attempting to explain extremely basic concepts concerning gravity to him when he answered my questions by going to write on the board in his typical mechanical manner. Then, without saying a word, and before I could stop him, he began writing a series of equations which greatly exceeded my own knowledge in this field. I copied them before he could erase them and consulted appropriate text at my college library. To my shock, his equations accurately depicted the relative movements of celestial bodies in our universe and their mutual gravitational. His handwriting is terrible. Gravitational influences. I did not understand the half of these calculations, but I was able to determine that they contained no errors. Based on these facts, I beg you to transfer him to the university hospital. I took the liberty of contacting a former colleague and arranged the necessary funds for his transportation and care. They hope to achieve great results in treating his amnesia, as they can confront this man with people having a similar degree of education and knowledge. I hope that you will honor my request. G. Herzog.
Who is this anonymous patient? Perhaps there is a file on him, as with the other patients.
Maybe, right? We should check that out. Now, can I open this with the poker?
Impossible.
No, it's impossible. Okay, then let's go to Dr. Gygax's office and look for the question mark.
Ah, here's the file I was seeking. It can only be our mysterious patient. What a strange character.
Only one of the files found in the Institute's examination room is reason enough to be considered as dealing with the patient mentioned in Professor Herzog's letter. The file indicates the man was found on a riverbank and was almost dead. He remained in the rescuer's town for several months. Unfortunately, he suffered from sudden and uncontrollable fits of anger and was placed in a local asylum. He showed no signs of improvement under their care and was consequently sent to the Black Edelweiss. This patient is mute and suffers from after effects of a cranial fracture, including amnesia. He is capable of performing menial tasks and seems to have an extraordinary aptitude for lessons given here. How peculiar. Isn't it peculiar? So let's... do I have to... Ah, there we go. Guess that's enough. Don't need the hairpiece. I think I have to go this way. There we go.
So, Wolf, I see you have mastered your lesson. Splendid.
Professor Schwartz?
I congratulate you, Wolf. I cannot say the same about your other classmates. I am most unhappy with their behavior, because it seems they have been cheating.
Professor Schwartz, you saw them, didn't you? I know my lessons. I always work so hard, and the others, they crib from me.
I know, my boy, I know. But their leader, he is a doctor, isn't he?
Yes, Professor, yes. He is the most vile member of the group. Sometimes he tries to keep me from my lessons. He says he will treat me like the others who don't speak like us and who scream so very loud when he punishes them. But I keep to my lessons and recite my tables all the day. He can't stop me.
That's good, my boy. You have made me proud. Now, I need your help. Where do they meet? I must find them and make sure they get the punishment they so rightly deserve.
They meet over there, but it is well hidden and only the doctor has the code. First, he makes noise with the fire near his office. Afterwards, he makes noise with the fire in front of me. And then he makes noise behind me. You will see he does not know his lessons.
Thank you, Wolf. That's a clever boy. You have earned high marks this term, but for now you must try to recite your lessons in silence. Since I am the professor, I know and see everything. There is never a need to shout.
As you say, Professor Schwartz.
Okay.
I don't need it anymore.
Something with a fire. Let's quickly save. Just something happens with the fire. So maybe I have to use the torches. Okay. Then in front of Wolf. Oh, it's also the one that have a slightly different holding, I think. Mechanism of, and then the one behind him, somewhere here, there. Ha!
It works. Simplicity itself.
A dungeon within a dungeon. Hello?
My apologies, but I do not understand what you're trying to say. If I may introduce myself, I am...
Who you are means nothing. All that matters is your reverence to the One. You came to invoke the Great Lord with the speaking, and now I ask you, who am I, you wretched mortal?
What is the name of the Enlightened One? Is it Cthulhu?
This isn't right. Perhaps if I begin again.
Ooh, what is it? What is the name of the Enlightened One? Is he Professor Schwartz? The old head of the... Oh no, it's the wrong
This
keyboard.
isn't right. Perhaps if I begin again.
Was it spelled differently?
This isn't right. Perhaps if I begin again.
Who is he? That is the question. Now let's think. Probably not Guy Jacks. Who is the one? The Enlightened One. Maybe it is Guy Jacks? I doubt it. He switched the keyboard on me.
This isn't right. Perhaps if I begin again.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Who else is there though? I don't know. What is the name of the Enlightened One? I'm not sure if I can get out here, but the Enlightened One. Let's... I don't know. Let us see if can I. Oh, I can go into my documents. Okay, that is good. Telegram from New Orleans. Let us see. What do we have here? Note from Muller Gygax. Gygax note. Strange poem. That your grabs go through the ether, stars like in the fruit. Wait for your awakening. Light of the abyss. He is the one that you chose to show. That is from the temple inscription, right? Light of the abyss. He is the one who carries your mark on the body. He became Light of the abyss. Is it Light of the abyss? Is it that vague? I mean, might as well try it, right? Maybe just the abyss?
This isn't right. Perhaps if I begin again.
Light of the abyss then? Light of the abyss. Ha! Ha!
Even your
Ha!
pitiful mind can find enlightenment before serving as food for the servants of chaos.
It's cool that you
Where
have
are all
to
those
go
poor
through your
souls kidnapped
documents.
in London? And what about the others who passed through here in their travels?
Your search is in vain. You are nothing to the great Lord. Soon he will heed our call, when those titans will be reassembled for the awakening of their king. The sleeping Lord shall walk the earth. You and your kind will tear your flesh when you learn how your lives insult the great Lord and Master. You will plead for the abyss, as have all those before you who fed the Great One. Those who give their weak flesh to our Lord cry for his return. So shall you. He has lain dreaming, silent, hungry, awaiting his followers. Tremble in awe. Behold, the Great One returns.
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
He makes so much noise. I better be on my way before...
Oh, okay. Maybe now we have to use the kitchen elevator, since I couldn't use it before. 3 short, 1, 2, 3. Ha! So that is from the letter that we found in the kitchen. Knew that we had to use it at some point, right? Out of here! Okay, let's quickly save before something bad happens. Okay, where are we now? Oh, that is the laundry room. Wasn't that where the weird guy was? Is that him?
No challenge here. It is a...
Oops.
No challenge here. It is a primitive lock. Any
Oh.
simple metal tool should allow me to force it.
Is it again our spoon?
Pardon me, sir. I need your help. He does not seem to hear me. Moriarty!
What?
Moriarty, my worst enemy and a man who was presumed dead. Who could think this demon could have survived such a great fall at Reichenbach? He seems a shadow of his former self. There is no doubt he has truly lost his memory and therefore cannot be a part of these events.
It's Moriarty. It's the famous Professor Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes' nemesis.
Find this outsider as quickly as possible and bring him to the treatment room. I shall take care of his memory.
Professor, do you hear that voice? This man who is speaking to two others, a man of great intellect and ability, who is approaching and is even now right behind that door. You know him, Professor. Come now, Professor. You can't have forgotten so easily. Let me remind you, Professor. I'm going to reveal his identity. I will tell you his name. You know him well, Professor. He is... Sherlock Holmes.
Stand where you are.
Oh boy. Okay. Guess we still have to find a way out of here, right? Anything in here? So that was Moriarty, this weird patient. What a twist. Oh, that is where they went up.
Closed. Tight. Impossible.
Or do I have to go up here now? Seems like that. What else here? So guess...
At last, the laundry. First of all, I must prepare my Amos disguise.
Amos disguise? That's disguise?
It is the imposter! He is here!
I'll sort you out, buddy. Come here.
Yes, arrest me, please.
The doctor is not here.
We had internal concerns arise today. Herr Director is engaged with urgent hospital matters and cannot be disturbed.
Yeah, he's being
Very
attacked by
well.
Moriarty.
We will take this troublesome wretch
That's a
along
throwback.
with us. Perhaps tomorrow the doctor and I will be able to discuss our other matter. First of all, my friend, you should know that you have been dealing with two famous professionals. Your deceit
Oh
has
boy,
failed. But
Watson.
you should know that it is impossible to confound us. Who are you, and why have you come here?
You are embarrassing yourself.
What is your opinion, Watson?
Holmes! But what are you doing here? And you are as white as a sheet. It seems as though you met a ghost.
It's quite possible, Watson. Quite possible.
You should have told me about your plans, Holmes.
Definitely not, Watson. You would have acted in an unnatural manner and done everything to persuade me against my course of action.
You can be sure of that. Good God, Holmes, think of the risk you took.
Indeed, Watson, and I hesitate to reveal my further plans. They are likely to be far more dangerous.
Will you explain?
Even though I know the crux of this affair began in Europe and even perhaps in England, we have no elements indicating the when, the where, and the how. Our only lead would have us travel to a continent not our own, one that is wild and untamed in many ways. I assume that you now know the name of our next destination.
Yes, it's gotta be New Orleans, right? We heard about that multiple times.
You are quite correct, Watson. New Orleans, Louisiana, located in the wilds of America, our nemesis has a group of his men there, and we must arrive in time to stop them. We must make haste to Le Havre and book ship's passage immediately. I took precautions before our departure from Switzerland, but it is imperative we maintain the utmost secrecy regarding both our true identities and our destination. We are dealing with a cunning and powerful adversary, Watson. Quite powerful.
Okay. What's going on here? Look at this little fella.
Do you require assistance, young man?
Not even looking at him. Jesus, Holmes. puzzle box.
Ooh.
Ah, yes, young man. As a Mr. Ho, the big detective, it is often necessary to use all of one's little grey cells to solve great mysteries.
Hercule! Hercule! Where are you? Oh,
It's a
here you are.
reference.
Naughty boy, come along now.
It's
Madame
the
Poirot,
boy
Your stop is coming soon.
Hercule
An agent will
Poirot.
assist you with your luggage.
I always thought I remember this. This is the one of the few parts that I remember very vividly because I always thought that is such a cool reference. Because also, I mean, time-wise, it doesn't work perfectly, but
As
kind
soon
of
as we
ish.
find a hotel, we
And
shall send
it's a
for
cool
our
thought to
bags.
think that Hercule Poirot
I took
became
care to leave
a
nothing of
detective
value
because he
on
met
board. Everything
Sherlock Holmes
safe
as a young
and
boy.
secure right here. I even
Let me
have
know
a
what
rough
you
map
think
the
of that
city.
in the
As you can
comments.
see, Holmes, I prepared for every possibility.
Hmm.
And here we are in the new world. A whole continent ready to welcome us with open arms. Is this not invigorating, Holmes? Think of the challenge that lies ahead.
Indeed, Watson, but let me remind you that we have few clues and time is not our ally, and countless lives rely upon our success.
You are right, Holmes. Perhaps we should secure some local currency with our bills of exchange.
Yes,
At the
Louisiana
present, we
nymphs.
have but a few dollars at our disposal.
So now we are in the U.S. in Louisiana, New Orleans, New Orleans, and that is where we leave off for today. We escaped the asylum. We met our nemesis, Professor Moriarty, who has nothing to do with this crime, though, but he made an appearance. We met little boy Hercule Poirot, another famous detective. And now we have to investigate in New Orleans. Thank you all for watching. We will continue very, very soon with Clicks and Classics and Sherlock Holmes The Awakened. If you enjoyed the episode, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this little reference to Hercule Poirot and also to Professor Moriarty, maybe. And then I see you very soon. Have a great time.